Hey, there we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, June 13th, 2013. And this is Before the First Cup with Jules and maybe someone else. I don't know. I see Zori's online, so hold on one second. Skype keeps dumping me, so I hope this works. And I don't see Lady Pitbull here on UCY.TV. So good morning, everybody. I don't know. Everything was hunky-dory here a few seconds ago. The music was cranking. I was getting everything connected, and then I just went blank, and then nothing would connect. So who the hell knows? But I think Zori's connected.
Good morning.
Hey, there you are. And I don't see Lady Pitbull anywhere.
She's in chat.
She is. She's not in Skype.
Maybe she forgot to.
I haven't made it, actually, to chat yet. I'm still trying to figure out why we got dumped, but I think we're okay now. It gets scared when I start logging in, I think. It does.
Yeah.
The second I go to log in, like, here I come to get into the server, it's like, oh, I'll answer.
I know, that's weird, huh?
It's, a couple times it's done that to me. That's exactly what's happened, so who knows. But, okay, well, Wendy, if you want to be on this morning, I guess log into Skype. Otherwise, kick back and put your feet up. I still got to log into stuff here, so it'll be a second. I'll have to do some music. Do do
do do do do do do do. I don't even know any of those really. That was it, as far as game shows go.
Mm-hmm.
On today, Friday the 13th, a full moon. This is a rare occurrence. It won't happen again until 2014. I know, 2049. 2049 will be the next Friday the 13th full moon in June.
Wow, somebody better go play a lottery ticket then.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a day.
I don't believe in any of that stuff, but
I don't even think about it usually unless somebody brings it up. Usually full moons work well for me.
Full moons, my grandmother owned a tavern, so trust me.
It does get crazy.
Yeah, we did 40 years of research, okay? It 100%. There were always, you could definitely tell when it was a full moon.
Mm-hmm.
My mother ran the fish fry for many years there, and it was Friday night fish fry. You could always tell when there was a full moon. People would get tanked. People would start fights. I mean, normally it was a pretty mellow place. It was old-timers. It was in a really ethnic neighborhood. You know what I mean? So it was an old, you know what I mean? Like the old
neighborhood bar.
Right. But, oh, man, on full moons, did it get nut-y. And, your body is made up of 90-some% water, right? So why wouldn't it have some effect like it does on the tides? Hey, there's Wendy. Good morning.
Hey, now I'm here. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I connected, and then the music started, and I went to bring everyone in, and I turned my head to go open all my stuff on my other computer, and I'm dead air, and I couldn't get back on, so it was weird. And then you were gone.
Wow. That's all right. That's how it goes.
Go ahead.
That's how it goes. Sometimes it's all right.
Yeah. So we were just talking about full moons and
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Supposed to be. I read that it was supposed to be a honeymoon,
Yeah,
which
I saw
means
that, which I didn't read it, but
it's supposed to be. It was supposed to be. I didn't see it when it came up over the horizon. It was supposed to be very big and honey-colored, like yellow almost. So
I've never heard it called a honeymoon before, but I've seen it many times. I actually have a picture of it coming up from a couple years ago over the top of the hills.
Oh, neat. That's awesome. I subscribe to the SLU space camera, so they send me like emails when they're going to document the celestial events up there, and I read their description on it, so that's what they were saying. And I guess the origins of the honeymoon were the fact that couples got married in like June and July was like the most marriages way back in the day or something when that term first came out.
And, you know why, don't you? Why they got married in June?
Mm-mm.
Because they only took one bath a year, and they figured by June, mid-June, was halfway, and so they didn't smell as bad as they did in December, so that's why the June wedding.
Oh, well, hey, that's funny. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, you take a bath once a year? Hey.
I would think the bath in January would probably be more productive.
You would think so.
Except that you might have problems with, like, freezing body parts.
Right.
But you know what? That's what fires are for.
Right. It's funny.
Yeah. Well, it was the cowboy days, so who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where they said the June wedding came from. Why people got married in June back in those days, and it just held over.
So they didn't have stinky crack. Is that what it was about?
Right, they didn't stink so bad as they did in December.
Stinky crack.
Oh. Could you imagine one bath a year?
No.
I mean, you'd have to realize when you got that bath, that once a year bath, how good you feel.
That it was it.
One the next day.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, since when did everybody come here? I don't even think it was last summer. It was the summer before. We had a competition to see who could be grosser than gross, and we did a whole week. Well, you know what? I was one of those people. I was one of those people, like Prepper Chick is self-admittedly, who had to take a shower every day. Now, I also used to be one of those people. Whoops, there goes my microphone. I used to wear a suit every day to work. And I mean, if we went back to when I was 14, I used to spend 2.5 hours getting ready for school every day.
Yeah.
Not one hair could be out of place.
That
I used
was
to keep
me.
Oh man, and I used to keep records. You can ask my mom. I used to keep records of every single day, what I wore, which shirt, which pair of pants, what color belt. So I never wore the same thing twice. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, I was one of those people.
I didn't even answer the door if my makeup wasn't on. You know?
Oh, no, I couldn't even answer the door. No.
Yeah, me
So
neither.
It's been a long progression of just getting older and deciding why. First of all, why do I give two shits what anybody thinks? Okay, I used to worry about like the people could see like this tiny little dot on your face or something.
Yep.
So please, I mean, it's as time's gone on, it's like wow, those things are just so damn important, and it actually started. I'm trying to think. Like, when I got out of engineering and I had to stop wearing suits every day, I think really that broke me. I had the most beautiful suits. We had a Sims up here, so you could get, like, Jones New York suits for, like, $50 a piece sometimes, So I had this whole closet of Jones New York suits and these Jones shoes. I had black and brown, so they matched everything. And I had a company card. I'm gallivanting everywhere. But I got to tell you what. Every single day having to get up and have your hair perfect and have your makeup perfect and your clothes perfect and then have to go and entertain people and oh my god, and then your feet hurt like hell and then you get to come home. You had to smile and then you got to come home and work another 14 hours because you had all of these configurations to do. You know what? That broke me. That broke me of having to have any respect for that at all. So that was after that I started working from home. And I did that for 12 years where I didn't give two shits anymore because it didn't matter. You know what? It made me realize that it didn't matter that the knowledge on the other end of the microphone had any difference if one hair was out of place or if the makeup wasn't on,
Exactly.
And then from there... Oh, you got to go to the store? I don't know. It was a Saturday or something. I was like, I don't know anybody here, so who gives a shit if somebody sees me?
Exactly. There you go.
And that's when it started. And I would never even wear shorts in public because I don't know, my legs. I mean, some people go, wow, you have nice skinny legs. I have chicken legs, guys. And they look just like my dad's chicken legs. But I'll tell you what, if he's listening, he's probably laughing. They do. They're the exact same legs. But, I'll tell you what. I have a friend. I'll never forget, too. I have a friend when I first met them. and he's running around in shorts, and he's got some stuff on his legs, and he didn't give two shits, and neither did anybody else, and nobody even looked at it. And I was like, you know what, fuck that. It's 90 degrees here. I'm wearing shorts. Nobody cares about his legs. They're not going to care about mine either.
There you go.
You know, it's been this slow progression. I got to tell you, it has gotten me to where I am right now, sitting behind this microphone.
I used to not go to the store with makeup or anything. I was out yesterday watering my garden in my boxer shorts. That's how bad I got.
I've been wearing boxer shorts. I'm in a man's white T-shirt and man's boxer shorts right now doing the show.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're not men's.
I could never have done that when I was back working, and business and stuff. But now I get out there in my boxer shorts and T-shirt and I water just, I don't.
I'm out in the back doing my garden, and guess what? They're my boxer shorts and T-shirts. I have to say that men's boxer shorts and men's T-shirts are probably the best sleeping accoutrements for the summertime.
Yes.
Because they're cotton. They're cotton.
Yeah, mine has a big smiley face on it.
Oh, no, mine's just like Fruit of the Loom. Yeah, I got fruit on mine.
When it's really hot.
And but yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how far that's part of getting older, and people expect you to get kind of wacky, I think. And so the wackier they think I'll get, the wackier I get.
Is it, because if you guys remember, like I ran across that Purple Hat Society quite a while ago. Did you ever see that? Yeah. Which is like all the old ladies, the Red and Purple Society, where they just don't give two shits and they'll go out and do things. And I never got that. I remember when I first discovered that, I was joking with my mother that would be great for her and her best friends, But I see it now. I really do.
And what's her name comes in, takes off this hat, this gardening hat, and goes, well, I don't know. It's just expected for all women to do this, And so, yeah.
I was anal like that about my makeup and all that stuff, too. And I didn't break those habits until when I was after like 30, 35. And after I got married, I was like, whatever, you know what I mean? But it was really hard to get to that point, to actually go out in public without the makeup on. Or like you said, answer the door. I had all that weird stuff, too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the last time, I'm trying to think of where I went. Maybe it was a school event, and I said, I should at least put mascara on. And I put mascara on. I'm sure it doesn't look like it to anyone else, but to me, I felt like I had clown makeup on.
Uh-huh.
I'm so used to not ever wearing it now, and I mean any of that crap you put on your skin. One of the things that started happening to me is that I started to get allergic to everything, and this probably started back 10, 12 years ago. And I had all these autoimmune diseases, and my hair was falling out, and it was really, in chunks. It was really horrible. And they didn't know what was wrong with me, and they diagnosed me with all these autoimmune diseases, and I had all these food allergies, and my body wasn't producing digestive proteins, like just crazy stuff. So I had to get rid of everything. And I'll tell you, my skin, though I would fight with it constantly, trying to get my makeup on every day, it was the makeup that was messing up my skin, I think.
Yeah.
And look at now. Now we know there's all kinds of nanotech and shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds
there's so much bad stuff in hair shampoos and cream rinses and makeup. In fact, last night I bought this new treatment for your hair. I went through and put every one of everything that was in it in the computer and read what it was and how it affected you. Luckily, it was all good and all natural. But yeah, I've gotten so bad that I actually come home and put every ingredient into the computer to see what it is.
It's horrifying. If you do that, it's horrifying.
Oh, it is. I actually invested a ton of money to throw away all that crap makeup, and I actually got the clean stuff that I got from Whole Foods, but it was a pretty penny, but there's only 4 ingredients in each thing.
Isn't that horrible? It's so expensive to get stuff that has nothing in it.
Yeah. Right, and
it's
why
cheap to get the garbage to poison ourselves.
Yeah, why do they need to put in all that stuff? I don't understand that when they could do it without putting all that stuff in
Like
it.
shampoo, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, shampoo isn't much of anything. You know, they have those, they're called soap nuts, I believe they're called. If you've ever been looking at any SHTF stuff. But I saw you can also use soap nuts for shampoo. They use it for typically for laundry soap. But they make like 100 or 200 washes for these things. You know, the stuff I have now, I found on one of my organic sites that I buy some stuff from every once in a while, and it's a big bottle of lavender shampoo.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so that's what I've been using, and there's nothing in it. You know? Burt's Bees, here's the scary thing. You know, when we were growing up, we all used some familiar brands, and I don't know
Johnson's.
Johnson. Yeah. And when I had a baby, you know, that was really when my first awareness. I mean, I had all those allergies and stuff, so there was that issue. But my first awareness on what they're putting in kid stuff, okay? I mean, I didn't have kids, so I didn't pay attention. Didn't matter. Did not affect me, okay? Didn't look at anything that was in any Chinese anything. And this was even before any of the Chinese lead came out in the toys. Because I'll never forget, I'm talking to the pediatrician, and she's telling me that they do at 2 years old, they do that lead test. They do some blood test where they got to stick the finger and they test for lead. And I said, you guys are worried about all the Chinese lead paint on the toys? And she looked at me and said, what lead paint? That's banned in the United States. I was like, are you kidding me? All the stuff that comes in from China and goes to Walmart, you think that they're testing properly for lead? And I swear to God, it was probably 6 months after that, the scandal started hitting the
Wow.
So I'm sure that she remembered. She was the one, too, when I started asking all the questions about wanting to see the answers to the vaccines. She was the one that rolled her eyes and says, oh, you're one of those. So I'm sure. And what was the last thing? There was something that we had a big argument about one of the last times we had to go there. Oh, God, I don't remember what it was, but I was right. I was right in the end. They were wrong. It was, it was some case I had been following. Oh, the Gardasil vaccine. Vaccine. And there was it was the one proven case. I subscribed to this one woman that was helping Dr. Lucier. She's got this whole vaccine website, and she puts really good stuff. And there had been this whole case that they had proven scientifically, without a shadow of a doubt, in research papers. And now the industry was going, that this Gardasil had put a 13-year-old into menopause.
Yeah.
And the doctor had brought up the Gardasil vaccine with me, and I was like, didn't you see that it put this 13-year-old into menopause? And this woman's arguing, why wouldn't I know about that? And I said, I said, look, I'm going to tell you something. I do a radio show, so I pay a lot of attention to this stuff, and I just read that story. So I'm going to send it to you. So when I did, I got home. I went to the doctor's website. And I, in the put a comments, and I did. Here, send this to Dr. So-and-so. I was just in there today. This is breaking research on the Gardasil vaccine. And, I don't mess around with those people. She's been wrong every time. She's a very nice lady, but she's been wrong every time, and I've been right. So, ha!
Hey, I was watching a documentary last night, and it's like there are so many doctors that are pushing vaccines that don't even really know that the marisol or mercury is in those inoculations. I mean, there was about 3 or 4 doctors in that documentary said, I did not know until a patient of mine brought it to my attention. And he was talking about how deadly the marisol is. And here he goes, you're busy and all this and that, but you don't think about what's in every, inoculation. I'm thinking to myself, God, then why are you a doctor? Well,
the thing is, too, look at any industry. Here, I have to admit, sometimes I get lazy just even doing this. Some days I'm on top of everything, and then some days you get to the point where there are just so many people that are pulling at you and grabbing at you, and you got so many things going on, you got to let something slide. And it's like, well, if it was bad, you'd hear about it. You know what I mean?
But that's it.
how it happens, but
it's been proven over and over, really, that every doctor knows that mercury is not good for you.
yeah.
You know? And
well,
yet,
what about the formaldehyde? No one
that too.
in the doctor's office could answer me that question, why formaldehyde is in the vaccine. It should be in dead people, not
Right.
children.
Yeah. And they use it as a preservative, don't they?
That's what it's supposed to be, yeah, to preserve
Then
it.
why do they need the mercury and thimerosal if they're using formaldehyde? Why do they need all these, 3 different
Well, you can't get the
preservatives?
thermocell-free vaccines, which are the ones that I've made them display.
I don't know. When I went to my pharmacy and I asked them for the printouts and stuff.
You have to be a child to get those mostly. The
Well, yeah, but I
thermocell-free
just
vac-
wanted the printout before, and they weren't going to give it to me until I threw a big scene. And he goes, this one has mercury in it, this one doesn't. But he didn't even mention thimerosal, like it's no big deal.
I think mercury is thimerosal.
It is. It's another word for thimerosal.
Right.
I mean, for mercury. Yeah.
Right. So a thimerosal-free vaccine has no mercury. Should have no mercury.
Right. And how
But
do
I
you
did
know
ask
that-
her about SV40. How we make sure there's no SV40 cancer virus in there. And she's like, huh?
Right.
But true.
Yeah. When I printed that out, I still have it too. I printed that out and I took it back to the pharmacist and said, because at the time he said this one has mercury, this one is mercury free, but then it had thimerosal, and I took it right back to him and said, isn't thimerosal another name for mercury? And he said yes, and I go, well, look at here. How can you say this is mercury free? And he just looked at me, but I haven't been back there.
Oh my God, Geddy Lee of Rush addresses a university graduating class.
What?
Geddy Lee. Lee! That chick I said in front of, I've seen Rush a couple times. I loved Rush growing up. And they were close to us because they were up in Toronto. I grew up in Buffalo. So it was, we would get them, over the airwaves even sometimes. But, yeah, I see that one of my Facebook friends posted Geddy Lee giving a commencement address at a university.
Wow, that's cool.
It's awesome. I don't know what he says, and I don't know how long it is. I don't know. Do we listen to was anybody a Rush fan?
I was.
I haven't heard Rush in ages. That might be a good band to crank some up tonight.
Yeah, in fact, I was making CDs for my car, and you can go on YouTube and get full albums. And that was one of the ones that was available.
Oh, Nick Burnaby. Here we go. Veterans arrested for anti-Obama Facebook posts.
What?
Now, I'm going to say something. I saw somebody doing posts on Facebook yesterday in UCY's name, and I'm going to tell you what. Don't put shit like that in the posts.
Wow.
Okay? That's all I'm going to say. It's not censorship. Don't bring shit down on me. Okay? If you're doing something on my page in my name, don't put shit like that in there. It's a professional website. It is not a retard website. Okay?
Right, it's not for
If you are
propaganda of any
taunting people to come down on me, I'm going to tell you that's retarded.
kind.
Do it to yourself and on your own Facebook pages, not on mine. And you might think I censored you. I did. I deleted the stupid comments.
Yeah, because
I don't know. Tough shit. How's that? How about I remove you as admin? Because that pissed me off. And it wasn't once. It was twice.
Wow.
All right? Don't put stupid... Hey, if they tell you that they're putting the telescope on you, let's be more stupid? Why does that not make sense? If they tell you that now they're coming for all of us, then you shut the fuck up and back up and blend into the wall, right?
That's exactly right.
No, does that make sense? I
Yes.
guess I have to
don't
come
go out
out
there
and
and
say
put
that. Do
hard.
I have to come out and say that blatantly? Because I guess I do. Yeah, I've tried to be very discreet about that, but some people just aren't getting it.
Wow.
If you want to be in the crosshairs, go be in the crosshairs without UCY. That's all I can say. Don't
Right,
put
do it on
me in
your-
the crosshairs from your stupidity.
Yeah.
All right, let's read the story. Veterans arrested for anti-Obama Facebook post. Now, do I agree with this? Absolutely not. But hey, that doesn't mean it's not happening. And it doesn't mean that I want to be the second in line.
Right.
Really?
And you know what? How can they do that, though, too? I agree it's stupid, but what happened to free speech?
All right. But hey, I'm not going to be the one that tries to win it back for us. You can do it. All right? I got other things on my mind, and that is not to be going to jail because I decided to call Barry some name. I thought of lots of them, and none of them came out. Look how good that was.
There you go.
It was quite a hesitation, so there must have been a lot of names going.
They were all spinning through my head. I'm just dissatisfied.
That's right.
But hey, look out for the thought police because they're coming soon too.
Yeah.
Right?
You're going to have your Happy Emoto robot that's going to see my eyebrow go up and is going to go, uh-oh, time for your medication.
Yep, that's about it, too.
That's what's going to happen.
Oh, time for your robot shot.
All right. Veterans are being arrested by Secret Service. What the? This is an RT story. Oh, there's an RT video embedded here. All right, let's read this. Veterans are being arrested by Secret Service for making anti-Obama Facebook posts sometimes the very next day after creating the post, a practice which apparently has been going on for quite some time. All the while, our police force is being militarized at an alarming rate, with veterans being cited as one reason why. Well, here's something I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention. I started thinking about this yesterday in a lot of pieces, and there were a few of you that were in chat as I was working through this, and then I started having the light bulbs go on. But think about this. All of the Iraq veterans, not one tour, but 2 tours of Iraq. I mean, like 2 full-blown out wars. 2 times that we've been in there. All those veterans are probably out of the service by now. I mean, the first one was back in the early 90s.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys have come back, and ladies have come back with all kinds of weird issues. I mean, a lot of my friends in the 90s all had that, I've talked about this many times, that chronic fatigue. A lot of them couldn't have kids. They had all these autoimmune problems. I mean, they were experimenting with that squalene and making them all get that anthrax vaccine back then. And crazy stuff, okay? A lot of people died. I mean, I just heard some statistics yesterday. There were over 4,000 troops that had died. And I don't know if that was in the first or the second, just in Iraq.
Good Lord.
And a lot of people were maimed. A lot of people came back missing limbs, whatever. But they saved Iraq from the terrorists.
Right.
Right. Now, I mean, we can get into all of the made-up fantasies about Saddam Hussein and Bin Laden.
But the thing is, our guys came back damaged from our...
And sacrificed. Mm-hmm. Sacrificed.
Yes.
And
that's the word, Jules. Sacrificed.
Yes, it was. Yes. And it was very much...
On the altar. Like
another Vietnam, I almost felt like they felt like, because it was under false pretenses that they were sent there.
Exactly.
And a lot of people woke up after that. So the fact that, and by the way, all the guys that made them go in on those false pretenses have gotten away scot-free as war criminals, right? All the ones who made up the lies, the Bushies, the Cheens.
Oh my God. They're still jerking around out there.
Even Colin Powell, who at the time I really respected him. I believed Colin Powell when he came out and said that they found weapons of mass destruction.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, hell no.
Honestly, I really thought, wow, some guy in the DOD who seems sincere. Like, how freaking naive was I?
I was awake then, too, though.
But think about this. So we have this Iraq thing that's been ramping up for a while. And, I mean, don't think this is just overnight. But it looks like we just about lost Iraq now to the militants. And these veterans have been watching this. And these guys, you know, when they came back, they felt shamed over a lot of things. But it's been a long time. We've kind of gotten over it. The 9/11 truth movement has grown considerably, which gave credence to the fact that this was all based on falseness, right? And it kind of maybe exonerated them a bit. It kind of helped them feel better, you know, that they weren't the only ones duped.
Right.
A lot of
exactly.
us, okay?
Yep.
But the fact that now we have gotten back to this point, they've made all that sacrifice, and yesterday, on Daddy Bush's 90th birthday,
Yup.
Iraq turns around and says, we need some help from the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, if I were an Iraq veteran, I don't think I'd be too fucking happy about the fact that all those same scumbags are gonna be making bank again.
Exactly.
I
The
sacrifice
same
that apparently didn't mean
scumbags.
anything.
Yes.
Exactly.
So
Holy
if you look at what's been going on here over the last year or two with the demonization of veterans and the guns and oh my god and PTSD and let's get psychological profiles.
And they
And
filling
now
them up with
radio.
waiting list.
Well, and the waiting list, exactly. We were talking about that. And imagine how pissed off you be after having all that damage being in Iraq and then never been able to get health care that properly took care of you and a whole bunch of your friends died on a waiting list and now it's been exposed.
Yep.
You would be pissed off.
And they know they're pissed off.
They want to piss him off.
Uh-huh.
So they can arrest them.
So
By the way, it was also David Rockefeller's 99th birthday yesterday.
No, how long's that man gonna live? God.
Hopefully, not too much longer.
did he go skydiving too? I hope so.
No, Bush did. I saw that shit. I was like, shit, drop him.
I know. I think we all had our fingers crossed.
Come on, equipment malfunction. Woohoo! You know what I
Oh,
mean?
big hole.
Jeez. Unbelievable. That just made me sick. And I guess he's going to do it on his 95th and 100th birthday.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good for him.
Glad he announced that now to everybody.
yeah.
Put it on the calendar.
Now where was it at now again?
He was at, yeah, he was, yesterday he was up in Kennebunkport, I believe.
Bunkport, that's where he's at. Yep, that's where he's wheelchairing out his last days. Up in Maine.
And Bushy Jr. was being forced to be down in South Africa by Mommy Bush at a women's breast cancer clinic.
Yeah. It's still down there.
I mean, if that isn't like tethering him in hell, I don't know what is. And in the interview, he says, "I," and he stutters too. I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, he fucking hates it.
We can't go in very many places, him or Cheney, because they'll be
Arrested.
on war crimes.
I know, which is awesome.
Isn't that great? Now
He would get arrested at a breast cancer convention.
I just thought about it, like all the depleted uranium that they dropped all over women and children. Like he gave two shits about breast cancer,
Right.
and now here he is in Ebolaville painting a breast cancer clinic. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure he was not happy about that.
Ebolaville. No.
And I mean, I saw actually there was something the other day. There was more Ebola. I just saw it too. I've been waiting for this, and I'm telling you guys, this is going to be coming. Pay attention. Mad cow disease, which the human variant of bovine spongiform encephalopathy is called Creutzfeldt Jacobs CJD.
Yeah.
The variant CJVD. And there has been now a fourth case, and I don't think that these were sequential, like within weeks of each other. I think these were within years of each other. But case number 4 showed up in Texas. Now, yeah, what's important about that is that, again, Bushy was in the middle of all this. When they started finding all that mad cow, remember, all of his buddies were cattle ranchers. Oh, hello.
Bastards!
Well, I remember I watch shit like that very carefully. I've always been into watching weird diseases and weird things. And I mean, if you want to know the honest to God truth, back in those days, I was always worried that it was going to be something like Invasion of the Body Snatchers falling from space and landing on a tree.
Right.
I mean, how do you know? There's nothing protecting us from shit like that. Very well could be.
Right.
So I just always watch for weird anomalous things. And the mad cow, I wanted to understand, what was this? Was it a virus? What was it? I heard somebody saying something on a show now twice or three times here in the afternoon following us saying that meningitis is mad cow, and no, it isn't. No, it isn't. Meningitis is viral. Mad cow is created by malformed proteins in the brain. Now, if you look at a lot of this DARPA research that they're doing right now, they are messing around with proteins, in the brain, and reshaping them. I dropped some of those stories into chat yesterday from that Before the First Cup page where all the brain stuff is. And they have been messing around with that. So, who knows? But anyway, all I wanted to point out is that with this mad cow, there was like a 20-year incubation period from ingesting these malformed proteins before they caused enough damage in the brain for it to be noticeable. And so, of course, we have plausible deniability like we do in so many other things. Yeah. And so with Bush covering up, saying, well, if we'll change the rules. So no more spinal cord and nerve tissue in food, because they were using that as filler in your hamburger, remember? Grinding up spines in the eyeballs.
And they were feeding cows, too.
They were feeding us the cows, but they were also feeding that shit to us.
They were, exactly.
To sick, so they decided, and I really think that there was a lot of what was in some of that pink slime shit, too.
Yeah, the meat they sell at, like, Aldi's.
Right, or Walmart, Chinese stuff.
Hey, some of the best restaurants were using that pink slime.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, you want to be careful. But back at the time, I was most concerned about my cats, and I think I mentioned that once, that if they were taking it out of our food chain, those guys, they're not worried about our health and well-being. They got to sell that shit. So let's sell it to all the pet food manufacturers. You know what I mean? So that was when we cut beef out of the cat's diet, too. No more beef cat food. But here's what I paid attention to. Is the laws then stated that if a cow was called a downer, it fell before it got to the slaughter gates. You couldn't use it as food. That was the rule. So what did they do? And here's the thing. If anyone has ever seen mad cow or read anything about the symptoms and how it progresses, it's horrific. It literally turns your brain into Swiss cheese. And it starts out with memory issues. So, I would get all freaked out if I started, forgetting things. I'm like, oh my God, it's mad cow. Because, who didn't eat lots of steaks and hamburgers? Who didn't?
Yeah.
Right? It's like the American way. The 70s. Who didn't eat lots of beef? I love beef. I would much rather eat beef than chicken. And now you find out that chicken's loaded with arsenic anyway. And turkey. I was just reading about that on one of the Organic Consumers Associations. They load them full of arsenic, which turns their livers into cancer tumors.
Ew.
And we're eating that shit. So anyone who switched to chicken when mad cow happened, like I did, I switched chicken for 5 years. I didn't touch any beef.
Wow.
And it's loaded with garbage.
Yeah.
And take a look at the symptoms of slow arsenic poisoning. You know what? I bet all of us probably have experienced those before.
Yeah.
And you get weird things on your nails. I even had that. And no, I'm not a hypochondriac.
Well, I think a lot of times when people think they have the flu, they're really experiencing food poisoning.
Or something, or you got some poison shit in your food. I absolutely agree with that.
Right.
100%. And that's why I pay very close attention. I would love to be absolutely 100% healthy every day with tons of freaking energy so I can have my work done and be happy and smiling by the end of it.
Exactly.
Say, wow, I love life so much. You know how
I really watch my food.
So, I just want to go back to the mad cow anyway, briefly. So, anyway, what happened, and this is why I find this very probable, because there was something that happened just recently that made me go, oh, those mothers. So, for years now, there's been the rule, our food is safe, according to George Bush, according to the FDA, and we know how much we trust those guys. Mm-hmm. Our food supply has been safe. Oh, wait. So, here's the reason why they changed all the rules, is because all the countries, Canada, number one, but Europe, then, number two, all decided that they weren't going to allow us to import our beef because of this mad cow. And all of a sudden, the cattle ranchers are like, hell no! You know how much money we have invested? They couldn't even sell American cattle on the freaking auctions. So, okay, we changed all of our processes. No more putting in nerve tissue into cattle feed or into people food. That'll protect the food chain. And if a cow starts to show symptoms and they are down before the slaughter, we cannot put them into the food chain. Okay.
Right.
So what that means is, as soon as they start seeing the cow having convulsions, standing on its feet, that cow is immediately slaughtered before it falls.
Yep.
So that does not mean that it didn't have mad cow. It means that they don't have to cut off its head and test its brain tissue for mad cow. It still goes into the food supply.
Exactly.
And that's been going on for 20 years. But hey, out of sight, out of mind. We never had to test it, so we didn't know it was there. The FDA has claimed many times before they do not have enough people to surveil the food. So they're not. We had that one story probably 6 months ago where they were saying that they are leaving, and we did even a clip on it, that they were leaving it up to the countries that are shipping food into this country to make sure it's safe before it gets here.
That's a load of crap.
It's like, what?
Are you kidding me?
I trust China.
Yeah, right. Oh, yes.
Yeah, China's organic food.
Especially when we're shipping our chickens all the way over there to get freaking processed.
Well, I just read a story before I went to bed that some tests on cocoa that came out of China tested for large amounts of cadmium.
Cadmium, yeah.
And I mean, think about it, guys. China, they've been doing all of our dirty work over there, and there really are, if there are any pollution controls, which I doubt it. Have you guys seen the pollution apocalypse over there? Air apocalypse? I mean, they're making fortunes selling bags of country air, okay?
Yeah.
It is so bad over there. And all of that is industrial waste. I mean, it is like, if anyone ever drove through Lackawanna, where Lackawanna Steel was back in the 70s, it's probably that on steroids, where all the houses were orange. And it smelled like rotten eggs all the time.
Wow.
Just imagine. So you got lead. I mean, the air, I can't even imagine. So it's in the air, it's in the soil, it's in the dust. You probably got lead, cadmium, asbestos. Who the hell knows what else? But it's all that toxic shit that they put in electronics.
Yup.
Is everywhere.
Gary, Indiana's like that, too.
Oh, that I have to say. That when I went cross country on my first trip, I drove. I left Buffalo and I headed east. That took me through Gary, Indiana. I had never heard about it. I had never seen it. And this was back in the early 90s, too. So I don't know if it's any different. But as I'm driving, I'm like, wow, look it, I'm driving in this huge thunderstorm. Oh, no. It was not a thunderstorm. It was a huge cloud of pollution over the burning smokestacks and all the dead trees. It looked like a scene out of the Lorax.
Yes, it does.
I had tears.
It smells that bad, too.
I had tears. I could not believe that there was still a place in this country that was doing that.
It's still like that, too.
Just so disheartening. So anyway, all right, before we get too derailed, I want to get back to this mad cow thing. So this has been going on for 20 years. They're saying that our food supply is clean, that no, we haven't been finding. Notice, I think they only found 2. Now, come on. How can you only, you know what I mean? Like, they were doing that for years. They were feeding reconstituted, diseased freaking nerve tissue to animals, okay? Mm-hmm. It spread. Trust me, I know it did. They already have and have found a variant of that in the deer as well. I think it's not scrapie, but scrapie is something they're finding in sheep, right? There was another brain thing. It's out there, people. I know it's out there. Just because they're not telling us does not mean that we're not ingesting it. And so here now, boop, 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 we have another case that shows up. So I'm not saying red alert. I'm just saying it is about that time. It's about 20 years. And we have this explosion of Alzheimer's.
Yep.
Is it really Alzheimer's? Well, no. But sorry, is it really Alzheimer's?
Yeah, I wonder.
I mean, yeah, they're saying it's aluminum that makes
same
you symptoms. It's the same symptoms. So is it really Alzheimer's?
Right.
That's a damn good question.
It might not.
I never asked that question before.
Well, there was, I know back when I first started researching that, they had even brought that up, that it was similar to the symptoms of Alzheimer's, but I don't know, just pay attention. I find it surprising that they actually admitted they found another case. Now, another thing, they had proven that, and wasn't there one just recently? Oh, I thought we played this, where someone actually got it by the surgical utensils.
Oh,
We
that
talked
crazy.
about that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No, that's the same stuff.
Is it?
It's croup shells. Yes, it's the bovine spongiform, the BSE. Now, they found a way finally, for years, there was no way to sterilize even, because it's not a bacteria, it's not a virus, it's a malformed protein. And so they didn't have a way to kill it on surgical equipment. Mm-hmm. And then I saw, and who knows again if this is true, they somehow miraculously found this way, because even high levels of heat couldn't kill it. And they somehow miraculously found a way to disable the stuff. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe they found some genetic thing. Who knows? I don't think I ever really looked into how they were disinfecting now. But there was a case that we read, and I think you were on with me that day, sorry, because we talked, Wendy, we talked about that.
We did.
Where there was a case, and it ended up being on the surgical equipment.
Yes. And it blows your mind because they can't get it off of there. Now, no matter what they do. That's so scary.
Here's a thought. Here is a thought. DARPA, there's already been research that I've been looking at where they've been playing with these brain proteins and turning them into mini motors and machines that they can program, that they could cause to do all kinds of stuff now.
Yes.
Who's to say that 20 years ago they weren't already messing with that, because we know
exactly.
DOD, DARPA, they are doing that stuff already under the covers years before we ever find out about it. Mm-hmm. And the crazy fuckers over that Plum Island decided to stick it in a few cows to see what would happen. I postulate, is it that a crazy conspiracy theory? Maybe. Or maybe not. And then they said, we can't kill it.
And it's getting out of control.
It's spreading into other cows. So here's what made me... I saw the story yesterday, the day before, about this new case. But something that came out about a month ago was this big scandal where they were making all these huge beef recalls because, lo and behold, cancerous cow meat was getting into the food chain. And how did they... Now, I'm sure that they've been doing that for a long time, too. So... But how did they discover that cancerous beef was getting into the food chain? Well, those rascals were pulling a fast one. What they were doing is they were slaughtering the cancerous cows and then giving the head, so I don't know, they must do some tests or something, giving a head of a healthy cow as the head of the cancerous cow for testing.
I heard that too.
Yeah, there was a video on it, too. And so here's the thing. If that was how they were doing the testing on mad cows, who's to say that they weren't just swapping out heads on mad cows, too?
Yeah!
You know? So, anyway. I don't know.
Wow.
I was just showing...
I mean, they'll go to any extreme not to lose money.
Yeah.
Well,
and I was just showing that it wouldn't be so hard, and there have already been scandals and things that I have seen that prove that it's very plausible what I'm postulating here. So anyway, pay attention. Like I said, there's only been 4 cases, so as far as we know, it's not epidemic, but the symptoms are very, very similar to Alzheimer's, and we've all been eating beef for probably most of our lives.
Well, yeah, all that. Didn't it start, though, like in Europe?
Europe had a whole bunch of freaky diseases.
I thought mad cow kind of started over there, and then it came here.
I don't know. Do a Google. I don't have time to do it while I'm talking.
Right.
But I don't remember where it started, honestly. I just remember that it was during the Bush administration, and all of a sudden it got covered up real quick, and I was like, yeah, you and all your cattle farmer friends.
That's right. Exactly. So, back to the Ebola?
No, I wanted to do this thing that we started on with the veterans being arrested for Facebook posts.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, we still haven't covered that. Yeah, okay, go.
Oh, wait, there's a video here, but I'm trying to get it to load. Here it is. All right. Oh, wait, I got to call myself first. And I remember my name this morning because it's Friday. Happy Friday, by the way, everybody.
Yeah, happy Friday.
The 13th.
Yeah, Friday.
Oh, that's not too happy.
Sure it is. It's one of my favorite days.
Friday the 13th is nothing.
I just refuse to accept bad luck on Friday the 13th. That's all.
I just don't even think about it because there's nothing to it.
Right.
It's like having a black cat. I had a black cat for 15 years who was my best friend with glowing
It's like the 13th
orange
floor
eyes.
in a building. A lot of times they leave it out.
Yeah, well.
They skip to the 14th, but really it's still the 13th floor.
Silliness. Silliness!
Yeah.
You know, when someone sends me a message at 4 o'clock in the morning and then gets mad that I'm not here to accept a show or something. Hey, I'm sleeping, and if I'm not sleeping, I don't want to be talking to people from the network doing work, okay? If I'm not sleeping, I'm probably hanging out with a friend of mine drinking a beer. Oh, God. This is what I mean, and it's 7 days a week. Here we go.
Keep us safe. It's surplus military hardware that's found a new home.
Fox 59's Russ McQuaid tonight shows us how some of our local police departments are now armed for war.
Do your tax dollars at work, and instead of being blown up, scrapped, or given away to a foreign country, surplus U.S. military hardware is coming home from the wars, being assigned to the streets and back roads of central Indiana to keep Hoosiers safe at a time of escalating homeland violence. The 1970s TV show SWAT showed state-of-the-art policing when heavily armed cops drove into danger in the back of what was essentially a bread truck. By 2010, for some police departments, not a lot had changed, as the Merrillville Police Department posted a video of its SWAT team in training, riding up to a scenario, clinging to the side of a Chevy Suburban. SWAT team commanders knew there had to be a better way. They've got one in Martinsville, an excess U.S. Army mine-resistant vehicle, an MRAP, cast off by the American military and parked at the Morgan County Sheriff's Department.
The value of the vehicle was $650,000. It didn't cost us any money at all. And at this current moment, with the paint and the graphics, we have roughly $2,000 in it.
Once it patrolled Afghanistan. Now it's an armored SWAT vehicle with windshields that can take a direct hit from a .50 caliber weapon, a gun turret up top, and the armor to protect at least a half dozen cops inside.
When I first started, we really didn't have the violence that we see today.
Oh, please.
The weaponry is totally different now than it was in the beginning of my career. Plus, you have a lot of people that are coming out of the military that have the ability and the knowledge to build IEDs and to defeat law enforcement techniques.
Morgan County Sheriff SWAT Commander Dan Downing says such a vehicle would have helped get deputies close the day they were fired at by a barricaded gunman in 2011, or would have provided safe passage for kids escaping Martinsville Middle School after a shooting.
And at the end of the day, it gives the guys the ability to go home safely. So no matter what the price tag is on it, as long as they get to go home, that's all that really matters.
That's why the police chief in Franklin has equipped his officers with excess M16s from the Pentagon stockpile.
If we go to a bank robbery, let's say, and we're just armed with our sidearm, we're going to be outgunned. And so we're trying to be proactive, not try to be scary, but we need to be able to be equipped as well as the bad guys sometimes, so to speak. So
yeah, so do we.
If we're going to be having assault rifles, we better have an assault rifle.
The man escapes out the side of the truck. As officers fire at him, he fires back. You see the rapidity with which the rounds are fired out of his automatic rifle.
That's what L.A. cops found out in February of 1997 when two armed and armored men loaded for bear and ready for war robbed a North Hollywood bank and went on a shooting spree, sending officers scrambling to gun stores to take rifles off the shelves in order to fight back. The Law Enforcement Support Office website offers guns and hazmat gear and clothing and night vision goggles to local police departments, and excess vehicles too, like those parked out back of the Cumberland City Hall.
It's something that you don't use every day, but when you need it, you're darn glad that you got it. And so in the winter, somebody's stuck or we can't get into a place, they'll be happy, that we're able to get in this one and get through.
You want to talk about a prudent use of your federal tax dollars. Not only does Chief Crook have this surplus military vehicle as part of the Cumberland Police Department, on his force, he's got a trained military veteran who knows how to drive this vehicle and maintain it. This is Congressman Hank Johnson. Georgia Congressman Hank Johnson is worried about Pentagon spending and small-town cops who have acquired helicopter parts and boats and bayonets and guns they don't need or can't keep track of, and he's ready to write clampdown legislation.
We have to actually record all serial numbers, take pictures of every weapon, every serial number, and then send that off to the military or whoever is there who wants the proof that we still have them and we didn't give them away, lose them, or sell them, or something crazy like that.
We have extensive inventories of what every law enforcement agency has, and when a new request is made, we compare those existing inventories to what their needs are, and based on those items, we either approve or deny their request.
When we were coming back from Mississippi with it, we were actually approached when we'd stopped to get fuel by people wanting to know why we needed this, what we were going to use it for. Are you coming to take our guns? I'll be the last person to come and take anyone's guns. That absolutely is not the reason that we got this vehicle. We got this vehicle because of a need and because of the increased violence that we've been facing over the last few years.
State officials say last year they got $14 million worth of free Pentagon hardware and materiel and guns that local law enforcement agencies could never afford. This year's savings are expected to nearly match that.
It's definitely eye-opening. Since 1990, when this program started, more than $4 billion worth of military-grade equipment has been sent to local police departments.
If it didn't go to those police, it would be disabled, recycled, disassembled, or refurbished for a foreign government. By the way, when those rifles reach the end of their on-duty life, they are returned to the military to be destroyed.
I just don't get... Oh, hold on. This is going to start playing some crap here, and I don't want it to play.
They save it for a foreign government, like
hold
running
on.
Guns to Mexico?
Yeah, or... Hold
Really?
on. Kill. All of a sudden, my machine is, totally locking up here. I got to kill the call. All right, there we go. Hopefully that doesn't play now. I don't understand how possibly we can't reuse and recycle the stuff in the military, okay? How about we have heavy-duty stuff, the new stuff, all the stuff that those rich companies, the Lockheed Martins and all the ones that are making the military gear, they make all the new stuff for wherever we're going hot at it in some part of the world. The older stuff, why don't you send to the peacekeeping forces? You know what I mean? Refurbish it where you're not going to need... And I don't think we should be in any of these places, okay, mind you, or spending any of this money. But if we had to, why would you not refurbish it, make sure that it's still in good shape, and send it to some place where we have, only a few thousand guys, where they're not having all kinds of trouble, but we have a small defense force. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Instead of giving it to foreign governments or...
Right, don't give it to foreign governments.
Or,
Just put it in the warehouses so the American people can buy this stuff, like you've done with the rest of your military surplus. Why not just do that?
The point is, we are the enemy now.
Well, I know that.
We were the enemy.
I know, but that's why they aren't going to be giving it to anywhere else. I think they've been planning this all along.
Well, yes.
I think it's a money-making scheme, personally. Remember, all those congressmen, over 50% are now millionaires, and that one story talked about how they had all their money invested, and it happened to be in the full-blown military-industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's how the DOJ is able to afford to hand their surplus off to police forces for free.
The DOD.
Yeah. Oh, DOD. Yeah, sorry.
Here, Jimmy wants to come on for a minute.
Yes. Please add Jimmy in.
There he is, Mr. Jimmy Funky.
Good morning, ladies.
Hey, Jimmy.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday the 13th. Dun, dun, dun. On Wednesday, Lance and I were covering a couple of things about the whole militarization of the police departments, and I came up with a couple of things off the line as I was digging around. Since 2012, DHS has passed to local law enforcement and sheriff's departments around the country 435 armored vehicles, 432 MRAPs, 44,900 FLIR units, 533 aircraft, 93,753 automatic rifles, 180,718 30 and 100 round magazines, and since 2006, well, I guess only 6 states have been issued 100 round drums. That's since 2006, but also 38 states have been authorized to use silenced weapons and have been given them by the DoD.
Now that pisses me off because those are legal. The only place you ever really see silencers are A, in the military, and B, the CIA in Hollywood. Yes.
Hollywood.
That's
hardcore, you guys. I mean, it's going to be like
93,000 automatic weapons, fully automatic weapons. Now, these are everything from fully automatic M4s to mod deuces.
Yeah, what the hell are they going to need mod deuce?
A mod deuce is it's a 50 caliber automatic machine gun that they usually mount on top of these MRAPs.
Yeah. What the hell do they need that for? For drug dealers?
Evidently, it's for 70-year-olds that don't want to give up their houses to banks that are foreclosing on shit like that. I mean, that's all I've ever seen. But, I guess we're getting ready to find out because they're not doing this for nothing, Jules. They're not building for war just for show. They're building for war because the collapse is coming.
Right.
I just caught a story this morning that the British Secret Service has ordered water cannons to be delivered within the next 30 days to the police departments over in Britain. So they know something is coming.
You see what they've been using those already in a lot of these protests that have been going on.
Yeah,
I've been posting them on a daily basis. Yeah, and you see why.
World Cup? That thing's exploding down there. I mean, they're literally killing people in the streets now.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But that's all I had, girl. I just wanted to add that in.
People are asking who's on the phone.
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
Jimmy Funky.
Boiler Room Radio. I'll be on tonight at 7. 8 your time.
8
Eastern.
Yeah. 8 Eastern.
7
your turn.
Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to add that in.
Well, yeah, and I mean, people are like postulating all this stuff that it's part of this and it's part of that. I mean, if you listen every day, we've been outlining this piece by piece, going across the Middle East. I mean, this is all a huge puzzle, and it's all these other little pieces. And honestly, I wasn't even going to touch that story, and I had to close it because it started playing stuff. But it was just something that was on Nick's page. Now, I didn't see anywhere where they actually gave cases like today or yesterday that someone got arrested for Facebook posts. But I am sure that they probably are picking people up. I mean, they were before, weren't they? Mm-hmm. For kids even, saying stupid things on Facebook.
They've arrested several veterans for posting stuff online, anti-war, anti-government, and kept one of them for almost 6 months until they let him go. Yeah, under no charges, just the Facebook posts. They didn't charge him with anything. They just took him in for questioning and kept him for 6 months.
Well, the whole reason of me saying this and talking about this was because I don't want people posting crazy shit like that on UCY's Facebook page.
No, because Munchkin does not need to go to jail.
Well, no, and I don't need some freakhead kicking my door in either.
At 2 a.m. Yeah.
No. So if I see it again, I'm going to do the same thing I did yesterday. I'm going to go in and, hey, I'm going to censor it. That's what it's called, Jules censorship, and I don't care if you don't like it.
That's right.
It's called keeping me and my family safe. So how's that? Do it on your own wall and disassociate yourself with the network then.
Duct tape from UCY.
Right. You want to stir up trouble and get yourself direct in the crosshairs so they decide that they're going to start coming for people. Do it on your own time in your own space.
Right. Don't affiliate the network with it.
No.
Blog Talk Radio's got a lot of shithead openings.
So YouTube. Yep. Go on YouTube. Not here. That's it. And here's the thing. It's not that people don't think this stuff, but if you've studied anything about history and you've paid attention, there's a time to stand up and let it all hang out, and then there's a time to be smart about it.
That's right.
It's like the don't try this at home thing, right? They didn't have to tell us that when we were kids because we weren't thick.
Right. That's exactly it.
That's right.
So, hey, did you guys see, we touched on this immigrant thing the other day, and I wanted to talk about this because this kind of folds right into all of this. So, now, what I was talking about before with the veterans and Iraq tours, and now Iraq falling to ISIS or ISIL or whatever you want to call it. And hey, by the way, those happen to be the same crazy guys that got the guns from Benghazi, were let out of the prisons all across the Middle East after being tortured in Guantanamo-esque conditions, all ran for jihad towards Syria, but we put them into Turkey and trained them via CIA and then set them loose in Syria. And then the guy said, wow, you know what, this is getting kind of boring over here. Look at Iraq's right next door, and it's an absolute chaos. It'll be really easy to start taking pieces down. And who knows if they really said that because we trained them all.
Right.
So then they all funneled in there and they started picking one city off after another like nothing. Pink, 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 pink. There you go. So now Iraq is just about fallen. We had that anti-Al-Qaeda propaganda video come out by Al-Qaeda in Pakistan, if you remember, because we laughed our asses off that Al-Qaeda was coming out disavowing association with Al-Qaeda. Do you remember?
Right. I do remember that.
Well, we're Al-Qaeda, but we're not that Al-Qaeda.
Right.
And that was just so hysterically ridiculous.
We're the other CIA guys.
Well, right. And here's what I was thinking, and I started going through this yesterday in chat. If any type of terrorist group like that, they don't give a shit if it was that Al-Qaeda or this Al-Qaeda or that one. Just they give a shit that there was damage and they hurt the West, and they can all jump up and down and go, we got jihad, right? They don't care who did it. It makes them happy that they struck back. So when Al-Qaeda group starts going, wait, we're not affiliated with them, and all that horrible stuff that they're doing, it's got to make you have a moment of pause, doesn't it?
Or two.
Like, why would they be saying that they're not affiliated at all with this other terror group that supposedly was a spinoff? The only reason that I can think of is, wow, because if it really was us that created these guys, they wouldn't want anything to do with it.
Right.
Because we'd be going out of our way now to make things happen and then blame it on them.
Right. Which is always the case. It's how it's always run. Same damn playbook that they always use. It's the same shit.
We created it and then we set it loose.
Right.
And now look at Granddaddy Bush, or Daddy Bush, got Iraq back for his 90th birthday.
He did, didn't he? Holy
yeah.
shit. Happy birthday, Poppy. Hell yeah.
How nice is that?
My mom asked me earlier if I wanted to watch him jump out of a plane. I said, only if he falls. only if they let him go in midair and he hits the ground going 120. Then holler at me. I'll come watch
that. I would watch that too.
That would be on.
I'd love for that Navy SEAL. I think he jumped with Navy SEALs. I'd love for that SEAL to just go, whoops.
Chuck just Skyped me and said ISIS is bullshit. Absolutely. We created ISIS.
Yeah.
We're creating the Syrian conflict, too. We've created everything.
Well, it was all of those guys that we sent over there.
Yep.
It was ISIS that went in there and created all the problems in Syria. They were the ones that turned it into this bloody freaking kill women and children civil war.
P2OG,
savages.
All of it. All of it. The
Taliban took Tikrit yesterday. You guys hear about that? The Taliban moved in on Tikrit with massive forces and took the town back. Yeah.
Sure? I thought it was ISIS that was in there.
They said it was Taliban on the report I heard.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to check on that one. I thought that was ISIS. I thought Taliban was still worrying about Afghanistan. I didn't see them in Iraq.
Maybe they misworded it on the report I heard, but I just caught a blurb on a radio talk show. So.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Someone in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that all that's going on in Iraq is ISIS, or formerly known as ISIL, which every time I hear that, they're like, we're not this one, and we're not that one, and we're not affiliated with them. That Monty Python movie, Life of Brian, I believe, when they're all in the Coliseum.
Yeah, I love that.
Private discussions about, we're not the People's Front of Judea. Fuck the People's Front of Judea. We're the Judea's People Front.
Right.
What?
That's exactly what this is like.
It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Oh, shit. It's the same playbook.
So
Even they were making fun of it back then.
So here's the one thing that I saw. So now we talked about the immigrants coming across and how the borders are supposedly wide open. And I see this story the other day, and I remember when they were talking about the La Raza thing where Obama had this path to citizenship bullshit going on. And one of the things that he said is he was thinking about allowing illegal aliens to sign up for national service, to go into the armed services to work their way toward citizenship. Well, think about it.
They told them that back in the Vietnam War, too. They didn't give them their citizenship back then. One guy had to wait 60-some fucking years to get his.
Wow, really?
Yeah. I just read a story about that. I think it was last year they finally gave him his papers after 60-some-odd years.
That's crazy.
He was a Marine for 25. He retired and shit and still didn't have his papers.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. We read a story about a month ago about the DOD reducing the recruitment numbers by a huge amount. Do you remember that, Wendy?
Yes.
Okay, huge amount. So I was postulating, wow, they got all these Atlas bots and shit and the unmanned aerial vehicles, right? And they're going to be programming them to do facial recognition and make their own death decisions. So, hey, we could just put, 1 or 2 soldiers in a room and have them control an entire swarm. And then why do we need all these soldiers?
Right.
Well, why do they still got recruiters down in Mexico and Guatemala and all through Central America?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So how about we just let them pour through the borders and put all the illegals in the service?
Right.
I mean, just as we're kicking, I don't see how we could be cutting back on recruitment as we have how many fronts live going now and how many African nations and how many Middle Eastern nations. And now we're thinking about putting boots back into Iraq. How can we be cutting back on recruitment?
Freaking Ukrainian and, Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, they're all over Europe. We're going to play something that's going on over there now. And I saw that they were using incendiaries now blowing up Ukrainian cities. There's some bad shit blowing up.
Yeah, white phosphorus. That's on video, and they're still denying.
What?
Yeah, that was
just like they're doing to Israel. just like Israel does to Palestine every freaking day.
Yeah, there's major bad shit turning up right now. So, you know what though? But think about it. So let's let them all pour over the border, and let's get them into the military, and let's start shipping them over.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? They're not going to bitch about. They're not going to bitch about VA benefits after the fact.
Yep.
I don't know. I see lots of bad shit going on, guys. So this story about the immigrant children, right? So we had this whole thing going on the border and that. Wait till you guys hear this, because I don't care whose kids they are. I'm
going to back out, Jules, and listen to it online.
All right, Jimmy.
See you guys tonight.
Okie dokie. Have fun. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
All right, here. Just check this out.
Well, stories of abuse are emerging from a new wave of immigrant children crossing the border unaccompanied by adults. The minors are from Central America. They're being arrested as they enter the U.S. and placed in holding centers. Many of the kids are being packed into fenced cages and forced to sleep on hard floors. There have been allegations of sexual abuse. Advocacy groups say 80% of the kids are not getting enough food and water. The children are often fleeing violence in Honduras and other countries.
They're locking them in cages.
That is FEMA camps.
They're locking children in cages. I want to know why now they're just shipping children over the border. I mean, I don't know. This whole thing is just so disturbing.
And they're all going to CPS too. Mm-hmm. CPS is totally involved. They're cherry picking the little children in cages.
Hey,
ew. Sorry, that just sent a shiver up my spine.
I see Chuck from Double Crossed is here. Good morning, Chuck. It's just as early for you as it is for Zori. It's 6 a.m. It's Pacific. Well, it's 7 a.m. now.
Yeah, he's in San Diego?
No, they're up north from you in Oregon.
Oh, that's right, in Ashland. Duh. My brain's not...
Coffee.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, speaking of... Oh, I got to find... Hold on, I got a massive text document I always have open with like 55,000 links to things and whatever for me to reference at some point. But here, we'll have to go out here for a second. Because it's Friday.
Hey.
Oh, well, never mind. Now my browser doesn't work. Okay, so do we get into like some of the stuff now? I saw a story yesterday, and I saw a couple stories yesterday, actually, so we've been asked to come help Iraq, and I guess Iran? Did you see that Iran is also offering to help Iraq? Now, Iran, notice it's gotten really quiet, too, about Iran. They let the inspectors in. I noticed Bibi has stopped his whining publicly, at least, that Iran is going to come attack them, so they have to make preemptive strikes.
Right.
But I want to see a map. Let's look at a map. You think this is going to get me on a DHS list? On another one? Map of Middle East, if I search that. Oh, whoops. Tough shit I did.
Red flag goes up.
Yeah, bing, 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 bing. All right, so we have Iran, Iraq, and then Syria, all in one big line. Bing, bing, bing. So you don't think that Iran is worried? Iran is a pretty civilized country. I don't know if you saw that after Barry won. They had all kinds of protests against their government there, which then we just hung them out to dry and let them get attacked by their government and didn't help them with their Arab Spring.
Right.
But from everything that I saw in Iran, I was actually really surprised. It wasn't anything like I had imagined. Same with Libya. I mean, before Libya got destroyed by us, Libya was a very well-kept, Western-ish looking country.
Sure.
And it had all these really nice buildings and downtowns, and everybody, no one was living in mud huts or anything like I had always envisioned.
Right.
Shame on me, but it didn't look anything like that. And Iran is right next to Iraq. So as all these loop-de-loos that we trained and armed and sent to Syria are now spreading into Iraq, Iran is the next country over.
It's the last domino to fall.
Well, as is Saudi Arabia, and I actually just read last night, Saudi Arabia is totally messing with us with the petrodollar, are they not?
Yeah, big time.
They decided that they're going to accept other currencies.
And definitely, I think that's going to be like a catalyst for things just to go right downhill and the gas to go right on up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why can't those rebels, pour into Israel? There's an Israeli-Syrian border.
Right. Well, because it's that domino effect, and the domino line starts in Israel, bam, and it goes all the way, and it ends at Iran. So
I don't know. I'm not against Israel. I'm against the horrible things that they do over there. I had lots of friends in college who were Jewish from New York City, and I'll tell you what, many of them don't give two shits about Israel. And they would eat hot dogs for lunch.
Right.
So there you go.
That's funny.
And I know, so people are going to call me a Zionist now. I really don't care. I'm all about everybody get along.
I'm sick of the name calling.
I just hate it.
Uniting. I'm tired of it.
No kidding. And I mean, like I've said before, there are good people and there are fucktards, and it doesn't matter what religion you are, what color you are, what country you're from, because I have my checklist.
And if you're a fucktard, you're a fucktard.
You're a fucktard. Any way you slice it, it doesn't matter. Now, you know what? Actually, what's pretty funny is I do have a Google Plus page, which I don't use. But I did manage to set it up because they forced me to through YouTube. And it's... Yeah! Finally got the cowbell to play. And it's for my Julie Stanley, my Julie Stan channel that I was putting stuff for the show on. But they made me put a header picture. And so
why?
Because for Google Plus... just like for YouTube, you want to put like a header picture and then it snags your avatar. So it's got my avatar, and I spent a long, hard time looking for a header picture, and I actually found a population sign that somebody very, very professionally doctored. And the population in the town, it says, it's one of those big green, like state signs, and it says, fucktardia. Population 1.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What the hell did you ever find?
I don't know, but every once in a while I go there just to laugh.
Crap, that's funny. That's a funny one. Fucktardia. That sounds about right.
Well, that's about where we are, isn't it?
It sounds a lot more than just population 1.
Yeah, actually, it should be population 10 million and 1.
Exactly. And that's not anything to laugh about, but damn it, it's true.
And on a Friday, it's nothing that I even want to be dealing with. I'm like so tired of dealing with this shit. Guys, if I could spend my whole day dealing with just my WTF news, I would. I mean, we did a whole show just called WTF because I enjoy that stuff so much.
Absolutely. That was sort of what, like, After the Last Cup was supposed to be like, too, in a way, right? Just sort of.
Well, yeah.
And it's like a round table, which is cool, Well, anybody can bring up anything in that.
Yeah, you guys are so serious, though, all the time. I'm not serious, especially on Saturday night. Hell no.
Right? Knock back a few.
Well, not even that. I mean, I just, 24/7, I'm immersed in this shit, and I get to the point where I just don't care anymore. I really don't. I want to be back to my normal dogma snuggie.
Normal.
Just don't care. All right, so here's a good one that we're going to listen to, and I'm going to tell you what, this still has something to do with the marching New World Order. It has to do with drones, and I hate to tell you, but if I was this woman, and I know she got an assault charge, but this probably would have been me. This woman is on a beach. I don't remember where it was. We'll have to go there. It was in a Forbes article, which I found it really messed up that they even put this in a Forbes article and quoted what she said exactly verbatim. But this woman was at a beach. I think it might have been in California. Looked like the kid was probably in his early 20s. He was flying a drone over the beach. Now, I don't know about you, but if I saw some little punk ass flying a drone over the beach, I probably would have marched up to him and done the same thing she did. What are you doing? Are you spying on the people on the beach? Right? There are people in bathing suits and whatever.
Sure.
So here, a woman faces a year in jail for beating a drone operator, assault caught on video. So this kid actually had his camera running on his phone when she came over, and he totally busted her. But it says flying drones, and I want this to be a warning because I guess what this kid was doing is all legal. And the reason why this is a big deal is because yesterday was the first time ever on U.S. soil that the FAA has approved and now allows commercial drones to begin flying.
Whoa, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, there was a story I posted yesterday. It is in Alaska, and I believe she said it was for BP for doing surveillance of some of their pipelines. So they're not flying over your house yet as Domino's Pizza spying on naked people. But, this was Connecticut at a beach. There we go. So anyway, flying drones for hobbyist purposes is mostly legal, but not everybody understands that. And yeah, you got to love the twist now they're putting on this in Forbes. Some say ridiculous things like, if a drone is flying over me, I'll shoot it down. Hey, how many times have I told you guys to get out your clay pigeons and start practicing? And then that town in Colorado is giving out licenses, right?
Right. If it flies, it dies.
Others get so worked up that they have to take the law into their own hands. Oh, goodness, those terrorists. Take, for example, Andrea Mears, a 23-year-old woman in Connecticut who allegedly didn't like the fact that Austin Hogwout was flying his drone, also known as a remote-controlled quadcopter, at the beach. According to Hogwout, he went to Hammonasset State Park in Madison, Connecticut, to fly his remote-controlled quadcopter. You know, maybe he did. I'm sure. I mean, you need to find a place to find them. But soon after landing on his last of 4 flights, an angry woman, later identified as Mears, approached him. Mears was on the phone with police, attempting to get them to respond to the flight by claiming that Hogwout was, quote, here taking pictures at the beach with a helicopter plane, unquote, which he was. That statement and subsequent assault were captured on video by Hogwout, who used his phone's camera to document the alleged assault. On the video, Mears is clearly shown attacking Hogwout. She rips, and this is the part I can't believe that they put in this article. She rips his shirt, holds him down, attempts to scratch his face, and puts her fingers in his mouth. I'm like dying as I'm reading this. At one point, she yells, I'm going to beat your ass, you little motherfucker. Is that not funny?
Funny.
That is funny. Shit. You know what? You're some little pissy freaking teenager flying a drone over a beach with half-naked women. You know what? I don't give 2 shits if it's legal or not. If you're spying on people, you better be running. Do you not? And I mean, this kid's like, oh, she assaulted me. Hey, and I would have called him the same thing. Go over there, not near people. How's that? I got a big problem with being spied on everywhere, every time, every second of the day. For some little teenager who thinks it's okay, and then they tell him it's legal. Don't you have a problem with that?
So, are we sure this kid was had a camera on that copter?
He did, yes.
He did.
In the video, yeah, and he showed the cops all the videos and everything. She ended up getting an assault charge over all this. So I guess let that be a lesson, you know. Don't go beating up some kid who's spying on people.
Right, exactly. I mean, you just hold them there for the cops, really.
About it.
Right, yeah, very discreet.
No, I just don't get. She was the one who called the cops, and they wouldn't come. So she took the matters into her own hands. Hey, you know what? When I called the cops, as I'm watching them break into a car for 40 minutes in front of my house when I lived in Buffalo, I called 911 3 times. Nobody ever came.
Wow.
You know, it's not to protect and serve. If they would have come, this would have never have happened.
Right.
I don't know if this video is going to play, but we'll see.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cardinal Timothy Dole.
Oh, God, surrounded by children.
Students.
Yeah, here we go. And now there's a little blurb, which is exactly what I just read.
Stop. Stop.
Is this your property?
Stop. This guy is taking pictures and trying to upload them from a camera. Can you guys get here? At Hammonasset at Middle Beach. He's taking pictures of people on the beach with a helicopter plane. Yeah, can you guys hurry? I already talked to them. Just come. Yeah, stop. I'm at Middle Beach.
And this kid is just taunting her by keeping flying his drone. Oh, he puts it into slow-mo. Hold on. Because here comes the assault. He keeps doing it. She's asking him to stop. She's on the phone with police asking him to stop. And he doesn't stop. And he keeps doing it. And he keeps doing it. And he keeps doing it. So it's all in slow-mo now. Wait, it speeds back up again as she gets closer to him. And now, actually, there's even footage of his drone flying along the beach. They're showing camera footage of what it's recording. And now here she comes. Come on. Hurry it up. Hurry it up. Ugh, come on. I want you guys to hear the assault. Oh, we might have to skip over that. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So she gets up close to him after he refuses. And then you see her grab his shirt. Because he had his hand on that. He wouldn't let her, he had his remote control for it. So now she's got him by the shirt. And she's pushing him to the ground. And he's just...
Yeah, you want to take pictures?
You little bitch! Eat that, bitch!
Yeah, you're going to see how sweet.
That's funny.
Now, what told me?
If you weren't assaulting me, I wouldn't be touching you.
Well, maybe you should be taking pictures of people on the beach.
You want to stop assaulting me? Get off of me!
I'm going to beat your ass, you little monkey.
Can someone call me out? I'm being assaulted! Help! Want to stop?
No.
Please get off of me.
Now his phone rings.
What a gay-ass ring!
I know! And I'm like, come on, little boy. You know what? You're going to go play with your toys and spying on people over the beach and then cry because a girl came and beat you up.
I know! What the fuck?
And then you get her on assault charges. I mean, honestly, like I said, I am not advocating assault in any way, shape, or form, but I got a problem with spying. I got a problem with drones. And this little guy, all he had to do was say, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go over there away from the populated beach. That's all he had to do.
Yeah, that really is all he had to do.
And he taunted her to the point where, and the cops wouldn't come. So you know what, little mother effer?
You're acting like a bitch. Your ass is getting beat.
He got exactly what he asked for, didn't he?
He did. I think she was in the right.
Like I said, I probably would have done the same thing.
You act like a little punk ass bitch. You're gonna get
So I don't know. I had to laugh though that they posted that story in Forbes.
Oh my god, I was screaming. I had to mute.
You know what? I will actually share that in chat for anyone who wants to watch it again and laugh.
Watch that.
He had every right to do that.
No, I know. That's what I said.
Of privacy, yeah.
That's what the cops said.
God, I love her.
It's legal. It's legal. And how disturbing is that is legal?
Yeah,
well, it's the same as recording cops. You know, they say you can't, but it's legal because you have no expectation of privacy when you're out in the public.
Oh, that's just crazy.
But it was funny and shit.
And now she's facing, what, a year in jail?
A year in jail and assault charge, because of that. And I mean, don't think that you're not gonna see more of that either.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there's. Oh wait, here. Let's listen to this. In fact, oftentimes, both the police and private citizens are unaware that flying a drone in public is not illegal, barring some local law to the contrary. As Jason Kobler writes in Motherboard, which is a magazine, quote, "It would be naive to think that drones don't pose some privacy risk. Anytime you can film or video or take pictures remotely, there's going to be that concern. And there have been instances of people using drones to peep on their sunbathing neighbors and that sort of thing. But it is extremely important to remember that it is not illegal to fly a drone, and it is not illegal to take photos in a public place, whether that be a camera or a drone or not."
In an enclosed, if you're sunbathing in an enclosed area, then you do have the expectation of privacy. Wouldn't you?
I don't know. If you're outside, I know that they busted some guy. They got warrants to come in, and when it went to court, and they busted him for his marijuana growing facility. They had used drones to take pictures of his property without a search warrant, and the lawyer was crying foul because they should have had a search warrant, and the judge actually ruled that because he had like 30 acres or something, that you only have a modicum of an expectation of privacy within the immediate area around your living quarters, not across your entire property, which I say is a crock of shit.
Yeah, no shit.
But that was set as precedent, and that was probably about 6-8 months ago. So
that's recent.
Yeah, that wasn't too long ago. I just want to read the second paragraph from this guy in Motherboard. He says, I haven't seen anything this extreme before. Violence is certainly uncommon, but harassment isn't. Anti-drone sentiment is everywhere in internet comment sections, on hobbyist forums and Facebook hobby groups. There are dozens of stories of people who have been told to stop flying by passerbys and by police who didn't know the law. Well, here's my thing. I don't have problems. My father-in-law has his planes, his remote-controlled planes that he flies, and some of them are like even the gasoline-powered ones, and I've been out flying with them a few times. That's funner than shit.
Yeah.
Funner, even a word? Funner. Hey, English degree gives me the rights to slaughter the English. More fun than shit.
There you go.
But
more fun than shit.
They don't have cameras on them, and I am over actually an airstrip. I am not around a populated area. I'm not flying it over anybody's house. I don't see anything wrong with it. Going to a park where people are flying kites and flying planes, there's no issue with that. But flying over a public place, and hey, let's think about, how about if your quadcopter with rotating blades had an accident and freaking chopped somebody's face?
Right.
You know, I would say it's more of a safety issue. This willy-nilly, you can fly drones anywhere and everywhere, is a crock of shit. I am just, you know what? If they don't think that legality is going to protect them, they got another thing coming, because I think there's going to be a big snapback.
Yeah, well,
there's going to be flying them everywhere.
Right, and there's going to be lots of accidents. There's going to be lots of accidents. I mean, there was a California case where the drone actually hit some jogger, right?
Well, yeah. And hey, how about all the videos that you take of your neighbor nude sunbathing that you then upload to YouTube?
Oh, my God. That would.
I'll tell you what, that would be.
What comes into play is see something, say something.
Well, yeah, and that's pretty scary, too. Mm-hmm. But I would say, look out. There's going to be lots of assaults. Think about it. As you start finding shit that somebody recorded about you, and you know who the little mother is who had the drone that was recording you.
Right.
I'd be afraid, very afraid. And I wouldn't be one of those people with the stupid drones who think that they have to go violate somebody's privacy.
Yeah, it just opens up another whole can of worms for people to fight each other about.
Well, not fight each other. I mean, this younger generation has no expectation of privacy because they haven't ever had that, right? You just post anything and everything about yourself out there, and that's what they want. They don't want you expecting privacy. They want you to let it all hang out, so when the thought police are fully in place, they don't have to worry really about researching much, because you're going to give it all up willingly.
Exactly.
Because you don't know any better, because you're that stupid.
Right.
And that's what I see happening right here. This kid just thinks that this is just nothing's wrong with it. There is something wrong with it. If you didn't have a camera on that thing, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Just keep it away from people so no one gets injured. But the fact that you got
don't act like a little bitch.
Well, don't act like a little bitch.
That's what pissed me off.
I don't know. She asked him nicely, and he didn't comply. And then she was on the phone with the police, and she asked him again, and he didn't comply. I don't know. Third time's a charm, man. That's when you're going to get me holding your shirt or giving you a push. And I am not a violent person by any stretch of the imagination. But, hey, that was uncalled for on his part. All he had to do was pick up his shit and go somewhere else.
Right.
I'm trying to find the story about the commercial drones. I thought I posted that on the, maybe I did it on my, actually I think I did it on my page yesterday. I did. Yes. And here's the other thing. So the first commercial drones have now been authorized to fly over the U.S., number one. And number two, the U.S. government has classified info on using drones to kill American citizens.
Oh.
We were asking for all that, and what they used as their justification to kill Alaki and all the other, we found out, right, we thought there were only one or two, but there were actually 4 American citizens who have now been killed by drones overseas. Yep. And we demanded documents. I even think Rand Paul was demanding documents on that a few weeks ago. And so what happened, they said, you know what, we've decided that's classified.
Yeah. Interest in national security.
Here's a commercial drone video.
Alaska's airspace is about to get a little more crowded. That's because just this week, the Federal Aviation Administration granted permission for the first ever commercial drone to fly over American soil. Now, the small hand-launched drone will perform aerial surveillance over pipelines, roads, and equipment in the Prudhoe Bay for BP. The Prudhoe Bay is the largest known oil field in the U.S. The FAA released a statement to RT about its decision. It reads in part, these surveys on Alaska's north coast are another important step toward broader commercial use of unmanned aircrafts. The technology is quickly changing and the opportunities are growing. BP says this commercial drone will help save time, improve safety, and increase reliability. The unmanned aerial vehicle was created by a California company called AeroVironment. The company says it was awarded a 5-year contract with BP. Now, the drone is called the Puma AE. It has a 9-foot wingspan and can fly for 3.5 hours at a time at 200 to 400 feet above the ground. AeroVironment recently released a press statement, also to RT, saying in part, thanks to the FAA's rigorous safety-focused certification process for unmanned aerial systems, BP and AeroVironment have launched a safer, better, more cost-effective solution for managing critical infrastructure and resources. The Puma AE is already being used by the military. This company is the Pentagon's top supplier of small drones. However, with the war in Afghanistan coming to a close, the company has seen a major decline in sales.
Did you just hear that?
Yes.
With the war coming to, declining sales in Afghanistan. So we got to find a new way now so they can start buying our drones.
It just pisses me off.
Yes, it's all about money, people.
So now it is pivoting its focus to the commercial world. Also new this month, the FAA has established a third testing site for the use of commercial drones in American airspace. This one is located in Nevada. Test flights are expected to begin later this summer at a privately owned airfield just north of Las Vegas. This is just the latest step in the FAA's plan to address the issue of unmanned vehicles taking to American skies.
I think there were 6 sites nationwide that they have designated to be the test sites, and guess what? Syracuse is one. Right up by JJ.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's the old Air Force Base up there. All right, let me put a little...
Oh, JJ.
Congress has set a deadline for the FAA to develop regulations for commercial drone use by 2015. So far, the agency has written 2 unsuccessful drafts and is in the process of writing a third for the Department of Transportation and the White House to finally approve of. Reporting in Washington, Megan Lopez, RT.
You know, like I said, I hate these drones. I really do. I am so against all of this. I mean, I saw SLC put into chat, and this isn't, I mean, I know that we were kind of laughing about it, but honestly, I've already seen people postulating that this would make a great business plan, is once they start giving away these commercial licenses, why would you not use them in private investigator business, you know, catching pictures of your old lady running around on you with, you know, surveillance drones and shit like that. I mean, it's just totally uncool.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be running around or whatever, but you know what? It's your private business. It's your private business. That has no right to be out there in the public with somebody filming you from the sky without your knowledge. You should at least, just like if someone is recording your phone call, there are many, many states that require that the party on the other end needs to be informed. Period. That's it.
Yes.
That's why when you call in to your insurance company or whatever, you always hear or the bank, you always hear the statement, this call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes.
Yes.
They are telling you your call is being recorded. It is required by law. Well, shouldn't it be required by law that all right, maybe not the alphabet agencies because they don't get anything approved anyway, and now a lot of that is warrantless and they don't need warrants even. But some other entity, whether it be commercial or private, if they are recording you, they should be required by law to tell you.
You would think so.
Well, they're working on the laws now. Why would that not be a part of it?
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because the kids today and society today and this whole Snowden thing that shows that we've been spied on everywhere has made everyone complacent to the fact that we have no privacy anymore. And that's bullshit. That, again, is another psyop to make you okay with the fact that every second of every day someone could be watching you.
Yeah, well, the Xboxes have cameras in them.
Well, everything has cameras in it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's totally acclimated now to receive this. Right straight in the rear end.
Mm-hmm. Here, I want to play this now, them classifying why and what criteria they are using to determine which Americans are going to get killed by UAV.
The US government has launched an effort to keep classified parts of a memo which outlined the legal justification for using drones to kill American terror suspects overseas. The administration argues that there could be, quote, exceptionally grave harm to national security if it cannot make further redactions in the document. In April, a 3-judge panel of a federal appeals court in Manhattan ordered the memo released. The case relates to a Freedom of Information request by the New York Times and the American Civil Liberties Union. They argue that the government's continued delays are cheating the public of a fully informed and fair debate over the highly classified targeted killing program. Legal scholars and human rights activists say it's illegal to kill citizens away from the battlefield and without a trial.
And it is. But again, in every single one of these cases where they call bullshit on the government, what do? It's classified. Or what do? Well, we're not going to send the documents, so you can't have your consortium to take a look at what we did wrong.
Right.
What? You want Fast and Furious documents? No, half those went to the shredder.
That's right.
There was one, actually, that Madison did the other day. I'm scrolling to see if I can find it. I am trying to find it. The NSA made some absolutely ridiculous claim that their system is so complicated that they can't quite figure out how to stop shredding evidence.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, because they're destroying evidence that would implicate them in wrongdoing, but their system. Oh, here. NSA argues its system is too complex to stop destroying evidence. Yes. Yep, it's too complicated. We don't know how it's working now. It's just getting rid of it automatically, so you can't.
Like, don't push that button on the shredder.
Yeah. We have a new paper airplane that turns into a drone, which made me so excited. Oh, yes. I don't know. I mean, where do we even care anymore? But as scientists are spinning up and making a more virulent version of the 1918 super flu that killed tens of millions of people in the world, that good old Spanish flu, they just made a new, more potent version of it.
Nice. Thank you.
But hey, that's okay.
We need to thank them for that.
Just like the 2 bird flu versions that then they made that killed like a large majority of, I think it was 90% kill rate, something like that. But that was okay too. And then they published the results.
Right. Right. Oh my God, it's insane. Totally amazing.
I guess what we're going to look at here, I might just bring this up because I watched this yesterday. we talk about so many different things. Yesterday we got into this whole transhumanist thing, and I really wanted to continue that today, but kind of got derailed. I don't even know how or why we started talking about what we did. I really wanted to finish that mind control stuff.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Huh.
But whatever. And hey, by the way, I just want to make sure you guys are around Monday. I have my dentist appointment to go have my crown. I got to go bite on that stuff so they can make
We'll
my
be
crown.
here.
All right, good. It's first thing in the morning, so I will
Got
not.
it under control.
But David Suzuki, who is a well-known geneticist, and I believe he's out of Canada, I think.
Yes, he's Canadian.
Yeah, he actually came out and had some things to say about GMOs, and it was in 2009. But what I love about this is that he said all the stuff that I have said, that they have been doing this for a long time, and they're not telling us. And I'll tell you, I read so much about this. The FDA approved a long time ago GMO foods, blanketly, a blanket statement, they're approved and they're safe. I remember that because there was a big, I call it a lashback, a big backlash when they first started even talking about GMO foods. And people were like, what? I don't want lab food.
Right.
And they said, no, it's regular food, just we made it better. And you know what, it's safe, don't worry about it. And there was no other argument about that because they just started doing it. Right. And I don't think that there was ever a final board of decision makers that said, yes, we want it. No, we don't. They just started doing it. And I've told you before, there isn't even like a large GMO group that's doing testing. All these corporations have their own scientists and their own R&D doing crazy shit. So anyway, here, maybe we can get through this really quick. I don't know. We might run out of time at the very end, but hey, I'm going to play this anyway because I want you
David Suzuki joins me in the studio. I want to ask you first, you've described our consumption of genetically modified food as a massive experiment. That's what science is about. It's experiments. What's your primary concern about this one?
Well, the point I make is that we have no idea what the long-term consequences of these genetic manipulations will be on the public. There is no way that our health authorities can test all possible combinations and permutations over a large enough population over a long enough period to be able to say with a surety that they're harmless. So basically, by slipping it into our food without our knowledge, without any indication that there are genetically modified organisms in our food, we are now unwittingly part of a massive experiment.
Hello.
Over years, as thousands and thousands of people continue to consume this, we will provide the data which will allow us ultimately to conclude whether or not there's any danger.
In approving the foods that it has, Health Canada says that they've looked for toxins and allergens, but that essentially at the end of it, a potato is a potato, and if it doesn't have either one of those things in it, it's safe.
Yes.
Why isn't it?
Well, essentially, the U.S. FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, has said that genetically modified organisms or food are basically not much different from regular food, and so they'll be treated in the same way. The problem is this. Geneticists follow the inheritance of genes in what we call a vertical fashion. You breed a male and a female, you follow their offspring, you breed them, you follow it on down, within a species. What biotechnology allows us to do is to take genes from this organism and move it, what we call horizontally, into a totally unrelated species. Now, David Suzuki doesn't normally mate with a carrot plant and exchange genes. What biotechnology allows us to do is to switch genes from one to the other without regard to the biological constraints.
Now, I mean, you're a geneticist. You know this field better than any of us. Why is that a particular concern?
Well, the problem is this. You see, it's very, very bad science. We assume that the principles governing the inheritance of genes vertically applies when you move genes laterally or horizontally. There's absolutely no reason to make that conclusion. We've got to do much more experimentation.
And yet we're dealing with such small bits.
Oh, sure. But one of those small bits can determine the difference between whether you're, in a human being, a mutation can determine whether you're crippled or you die. I mean, because they're tiny, a tiny part of it doesn't mean they are not potent. And the point is, when you move a gene, one tiny gene, as you say, out of this organism into a different one, you change completely its context. And there is no way at the present time that we can predict how that's going to behave and what the outcome will be. We think that we're designing these life forms, but it's like taking the Toronto Symphony Orchestra prepared to play a Beethoven symphony. And then you take some taiko drummers over here, and you flip them over in with the Toronto Symphony, and you say, play music. Well, what comes out is going to be something very, very different from either the taiko drums by themselves or the symphony.
Presumably this science is well motivated. They're doing this for the right reasons, whether they say it's to reduce the use of pesticides, to be able to improve crop yields, to be able to, I suppose, fight pests and bugs in our foods in other ways. What's the answer? I mean,
well, that's what the publicists say, is that it's being driven for all of these good things. The fact of the matter is it's being driven by money. Tremendous amount of money, speculative money, invested in biotech companies now, and so there's a tremendous amount of pressure to realize some kind of income on that investment, so you can have some real economic exchange here. So it's money that's driving it. You know, they say that it's to help deal with the huge population growth. Well, Wolfenson, the president of the World Bank, says that 1.3 billion human beings live on less than $1 a day. 3 billion people, half the human population, lives on less than $3 a day. Do you think they're going to be able to afford the very expensive genetically engineered foods? A great deal, more than half of the products, say, of Monsanto, are seeds that are generated not to produce more nourishment or to be better tasting, but to allow these plants to be drenched with Monsanto pesticides. Normally, those pesticides would kill the grain or the crop, but now they've engineered them to be resistant to those, and they demand to have the Monsanto product put on them. So it's a business excuse. It has nothing to do with improving the quality of life on Earth.
So what should consumers do? What do you do?
Well, I personally think it's too late to put the genie back in the bottle. It's already on us. And so to demand that a stop to all of this and a moratorium be held is really pretty unrealistic. At the very least, in a democratic society, in a civil society, we as consumers ought to be given the choice whether we do or do not want to become part of this massive experiment. So at the very least, surely you could put on the label whether or not there's genetically modified organisms in it.
All right, and at that point, we got to stop because we are plumb out of time, guys. Thank you so much for being here today, ladies. Guys, he said we will never be able to put the genie back into the bottle, and will you ever hear something like that on American television? Absolutely not. That had to come from Canada. But I trust somebody like David Suzuki saying that this is all about money, man. This is not tested, and we are the experiment. I've been saying that all along. All right, ladies. You have a wonderful Friday. Everybody listening, you have a great Friday. And it's Friday, so let's go back here. I think I'm going to tonight. I'll be around.
Have a great weekend.
You too. Take care.